Imagine a tiny planet, no bigger than a house, floating quietly in the vast, dark ocean of space. On this planet, there are 3 small volcanoes and a single proud rose. There are no traffic jams, no ringing phones, and no endless lists of things to do. There is only the quiet sound of the wind and the soft light of 44 sunsets in a single day. For many of us living in busy cities, this place feels like a dream. We have become so involved in being serious people that we have lost the key to this planet. We have forgotten the small boy with golden hair who once traveled across the stars to teach us how to see again. My name is Elena, and today, I want to welcome you into this quiet, safe space. In this session of Inner Voice English, we are not just going to practice our listening skills. We are going to go on a journey through the most beautiful story ever told. The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Our story begins in the middle of the Sahara Desert. A pilot has crashed his plane, and he is all alone, thousands of miles from any human life. He is tired, thirsty, and afraid. But suddenly, in the middle of the sand and the silence, a small, extraordinary voice speaks to him. It says, "Please, draw me a sheep." This is how the pilot meets the little prince. The boy does not come from Earth. He comes from asteroid B 612. As the pilot repairs his plane, the little prince begins to tell his story. He tells the pilot about his home, where he spends his days cleaning his volcanoes and pulling up tiny baobab trees before they grow too large and break his planet apart. But most importantly, he tells the pilot about his rose. The rose appeared on his planet one day, growing from a mysterious seed. She was beautiful, but she was also very difficult. She was proud, she was demanding, and she told small lies to make herself seem more important. The little prince loved her deeply, but because he was so young, he did not know how to love her properly. He took her words too seriously instead of looking at her actions. He felt hurt by her vanity, and so, one morning, he decided to leave. He used a flock of wild birds to fly away, seeking new friends and more knowledge. But as he said goodbye, the rose finally stopped acting proud. She told him, "I have been silly. I ask your forgiveness. Try to be happy." This was the first time the little prince realized that beneath her thorns, the rose was fragile and afraid. On his journey, the little prince visited many other small planets. On the first planet, he met a king who thought he ruled over everything, but he had no subjects to command. On another, he met a conceited man who only wanted to be admired and praised. On a third, he met a businessman who spent all his time counting stars, believing that owning them made him rich. Each time the little prince left a planet, he said to himself, "The grown-ups are certainly very extraordinary." He realized that these serious people were trapped in their own small worlds. They were so busy with their important work that they had forgotten how to look at the stars or smell a flower. They had plenty of things, but they had no real joy. Eventually, the little prince landed on Earth. He was surprised to find the desert so empty, but soon he came across a garden full of 5,000 roses. He fell into the grass and cried. He thought his rose was the only one in the universe, but here were thousands just like her. He felt that he was not a great prince at all. It was at this moment of deep sadness that he met the fox. The fox was wild, but he wanted to be tamed. The little prince asked what that meant. The fox explained that to tame means to establish ties. He said, "To me, you are still nothing more than a little boy who is just like 100,000 other little boys. And I am to you nothing more than a fox, like 100,000 other foxes. But if you tame me, then we shall need each other. To me, you will be unique in all the world. To you, I shall be unique in all the world." The little prince spent time with the fox. He sat a little further away each day, coming closer and closer in silence. Slowly, they established a bond. Before the prince left, the fox shared a great secret with him. He said, "It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye." The prince realized that his rose was indeed unique in all the world, not because she was the only rose, but because she was his rose. He had watered her, protected her with a screen, and listened to her complaints and her silences. Because he had tamed her, she was more important than all the 5,000 roses in the garden combined. He was responsible for her. Before we move into the reflections of this story, I want to pause for a vocabulary moment. I used the word essential. When something is essential, it means it is extremely important or absolutely necessary. It is the heart of a matter. For example, patience is essential when you are learning a new language. I also mentioned the word melancholy. Melancholy is a feeling of pensive sadness, typically with no obvious cause. It is a quiet, gentle kind of sadness, much like the feeling the little prince has when he watches the sunset. Understanding these words helps us describe the deep emotions we find in this story. Now, let us look at how this story speaks to our modern lives in the city. Many of us are like the businessman in the story. We spend our days counting things, money, hours at work, likes on social media, or the number of English words we have memorized. We think these numbers make us successful. But the little prince reminds us that we are losing our connection to the essential things. In our rush to be productive, we forget to tame our world. We have thousands of digital connections, but we often feel lonely because we haven't spent the slow, quiet time required to build a real bond with anyone, or even with ourselves. Furthermore, we often treat our English journey like a task on a list. We want to be fluent instantly. But remember the lesson of the fox. You cannot tame a language in a day. You must sit with it every morning. You must listen to its stories, even when you don't understand every word. You must be patient. When you spend time with English, it stops being a difficult subject and begins to become a part of your inner voice. It becomes unique to you because of the time you have wasted on it. As the fox said, that time is never truly wasted. It is the very thing that gives the language value in your life. In addition to this, the story teaches us about the beauty of responsibility. We live in a world that tells us to always look for something better or newer. If a job is hard, we leave. If a goal is difficult, we change it. But the little prince returned to his rose, even though she was difficult and had thorns. He realized that his meaning in life came from his commitment to her. When you take responsibility for your growth, your learning, and your relationships, you find a sense of peace that the serious people will never understand. You realize that you are the gardener of your own life, and your rose is worth the effort. As we reflect on these lessons, I want you to listen to your own inner voice. Ask yourself, what are the baobabs in my life that I need to pull up before they grow too big? Perhaps they are thoughts of self-doubt, or the habit of comparing yourself to others? Who or what am I trying to tame right now? Maybe it is a new skill, a new friendship, or a new way of speaking. And most importantly, what is essential in my life that I have been neglecting because I was too busy being a grown-up? Connecting with your inner voice means choosing to see with your heart. It means realizing that your value is not found in what you own, but in who you are and who you care for. When you sit in this quiet space and listen to English stories, you are not just studying. You are taming a new part of yourself. You are allowing your soul to grow. You are becoming a person who, like the little prince, knows that the stars are beautiful because of a rose that cannot be seen. Let us summarize the main points of our journey today. First, we learned that the most important things in life are invisible to the eye. We must look with our hearts to find the truth. Second, we discovered that building a real bond, or taming something, requires time, patience, and consistency. Whether it is a friend or a language, the connection is built in the quiet moments. Third, we recognized that we are forever responsible for what we have tamed. Our commitments are what give our lives meaning and beauty. As we finish our time together, I want you to carry the spirit of the little prince with you. Do not let the noise of the city or the pressure of work make you forget the essential things. Be patient with your English, be gentle with your heart, and remember to look at the stars every once in a while. You are building a system of growth, and every small atomic step you take is a celebration of your human spirit. You are not just a student, you are a storyteller in the making. If these steps resonate with you, share your thoughts or which step you will try first in the comments. Subscribe to Inner Voice English for more calm guides to a better life. Be kind to yourself, stay consistent, and I will see you in our next session. Goodbye for now.